Hi everyone, welcome to the AskTheRaCast.
Yeah.
What?
You're freaking out, and I have a slide that has the entire intro.
I'm Desiree,
And I'm Aaron.
and this as usual will be us continuing through the raw contact. But first, you're going to read the disclaimer.
I will. We are not by any means experts in this material, and we do not claim to be spiritual gurus. These episodes contain our interpretations of the materials discussed. We implore you to not take our interpretation as the only understanding of the materials. The materials themselves are the only authoritative sources available. We encourage all listeners and viewers taking in our content to use their own discernment in regards to the materials we discuss. If one feels any attractive interest to the materials discussed herein, it is our perception that one should access the source material in their own study to come to their own conclusions. Links will be provided. Thank you for your continued support and drive towards spiritual polarization, and welcome to the family of people that like raw.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
With all that being said, though, let's jump into the raw contact session 5, where we'll be playing a sample for y'all.
Here you go.
You are listening to a cassette recording of a channeling session from the Raw Contact, a series of 106 sessions that were conducted between 1981 and 1984, using a form of tuned trance telepathy. Throughout these sessions, a group of entities identified as Ra shared information regarding the Law of One, spiritual evolution, and a variety of esoteric topics through a series of questions and answers. The full text transcript of these recorded sessions can be read for free at lnlresearch.org, where you can also learn more about this audio and its origins. This recording is intended for personal study and is not available for commercial use. Please contact LNL Research if you wish to use this audio in any other way.
In the love and the light of the infinite Creator, I communicate now.
The last time communicated, we're speaking of learning of healing. It is my impression that from what you gave to us in the earlier session, that it is necessary to first purify the self by certain disciplines and exercises. Then, in order to heal, be patient, it is necessary, by example, also with certain exercises, to create the mental configuration in the patient that allows him to heal himself. Am I correct?
I am Ra. Although your learned understanding distortion is essentially correct, your choice of vibratory sound complex is not entirely as accurate as this language.
So there's another little snippet of the original material from session 5, so it's relevant to what we're going to be talking about tonight. And I think you've got a little more to go, then we can get in.
So, with that lovely sample and what he said, we're going to continue where we left off the last time. We were here with the concept of healers, and unfortunately this session is a little shorter than the other ones that we've gone through so far, but Ra has a lot of stuff to talk about, so if y'all have any questions or want us to slow down or anything like that, let us know. Or if you do have any questions later, you can always contact us. I don't remember what those ones are called right now, but we can probably give them later.
We're on Twitter, and obviously through Twitch, and then the email is just AskTheRaCast@gmail.com.
Alright, so this honor duty is a big one. There's a ton of polarization here that's available to any of y'all who are willing to take on the task to do so. So let's start polarizing ourselves.
In terms of being healers.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so we'll just dive into the first question. Don asks Ra, the last time we communicated, we were speaking of learning of healing. It is my impression that from what you gave to us in the earlier session, that it is necessary to first purify the self by certain disciplines and exercises. Then, in order to heal a patient, it is necessary, by example, and possibly certain exercises, to create a mental configuration in the patient that allows him to heal himself. Am I correct?
Ra says, I am Ra. Although your learned understanding distortion is essentially correct, your choice of vibratory sound complex is not entirely as accurate as this language allows. It is not by example that the healer does the working. The working exists in and of itself. The healer is only the catalyst. Much as this instrument has the catalysis necessary to provide the channel for our words, yet, by example or exercise of any kind, can take no thought for this working. The healing working is congruent in that it is a form of channeling some distortion of the intelligent infinity.
First response, and there's already a whole bunch in there.
Yeah.
Did you catch all that?
And my understanding is that healing is going to occur. Healing is not the worker, or is not the healer is not causing the healing. The healer is just the catalyst for the healing to cause it to speed up. Like what a catalyst does. A catalyst is there to amplify, fuel, speed up.
Yep.
Etc., etc.
And I don't know for sure if like the healing Ra's talking about is always going to be only a physical healing, in the sense of like, you know, if you have an accident or whatever, or by your soul's choosing before incarnation is to experience a whole hell of a lot of distortion in regards to physical health, like, does that healing mean that physical healing, or is it literally healing as in like you're going to pass on to, you know, your next stage? You know, there's a lot of little things to pull out of it, basically saying that the healing is always there. So whether it's like you're actually being fixed per se, or
polarizing,
that's what, everything we do polarizes us in one way or another. You know, even by the nth degree, there's always something.
But positively polarizing would be more of a healing of yourself, would it not?
Wouldn't be a self?
Would be. Would it not? Like, because
positive,
you can polarize negatively or positively.
Right.
But in human words, heal is more of the positive route. So would positively polarizing be healing us and our higher selves?
Yeah, but I'm sure there's ways for negatives to heal too, because they're going to want to keep their people with them, you know.
But is that healing or is that suffering?
Well, if you're healing the physical body.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, and the essence of negative polarity is that of separation, which is suffering. So, I don't know. It's kind of deep when you try to dig into it that much, which is why this material is so great. But like, I definitely feel like there are going to be negatives out there, whether knowingly or unknowingly, are going to heal somebody else. But that, in essence, in the bare bones of each polarity, would be positive because you're serving others. Yeah. So
It's just very deep. You gotta
yeah,
kind of.
negatives aren't going to heal other people. They're going to use other people to heal themselves.
That's what
they're going to do. They're going to. You were probably getting at this earlier, and my brain just didn't make the connections. They're going to take advantage of other people to heal themselves.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So they're using the suffering of others as a catalyst to quote unquote heal.
Well,
But-
it won't necessarily have to be the suffering of others, but they can take advantage of them.
To cause them to suffer.
Well, yes, they could, but I don't think it necessarily has to involve causing suffering.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I think it's actually more clever to have my mic on the inside since I look at you all the time.
I look at you all the time.
Which is why it's good that yours is over here, because when I look at you, I'm looking away from the microphone.
All right. Well, anyway, it's a very deep. I didn't know you meant now.
I didn't either. Welcome to that which is my brain. That'll do for now.
That'll do.
That'll do, donkey. So yeah, there's a lot there, and then of course when we talk about it, it's going to get even more kind of
I can hear you better now.
right. It's almost like I'm talking into the microphone or something, you know.
Fancy.
Let me just aim it at my face a little better there. I'll have to rearrange this. This isn't permanent, but you
Yeah.
know.
That was better than the first time, though.
What's that?
Our first session.
Oh yeah, the first one was kind of fun. It was a disaster piece. Go back to watch episode 1, you know, on the YouTube, getting to know us, you know, or listen to it, the first episode. All right, you ready to get into the meat and potatoes of this session?
This is a very long thing. I think we're going to have to take this in sections.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So Don says that they want to accept the honor duty of the learning teaching the healing process. For anyone that's unfamiliar with this, if you just happen to pop in this episode without knowing anything about the other ones, there are the way Ra teaches and the way to speak without label. That's the way I take it, at least, is you provide both because we are all one. So when you're teaching, you're learning. When you have an honor to receive, you have the duty to give, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So you get the polarities of the words coinciding. So Don says they would like to accept the honor duty, learning, teaching the healing process, though he doesn't know what the first step should be.
And I figured we'll take like the section, dissect it, the section, dissect it.
Yeah, because I did the first and then the second over there. So
Yeah, I think this would just be easier.
yep.
Okay, so this is very long. I am Ra. We shall begin with the first of the 3 teachings, learnings. We begin with the mental learned teachings necessary for contact with intelligent infinity. The prerequisite of mental work is the ability to retain silence of self at a steady state when required by the self. The mind must be opened like a door. The key is silence. Within the door lies an hierarchical construction. You may like
Hold on, I lost where you were. It's probably hierarchical again.
Probably. Hierarchical, yes.
Yeah.
Within the door lies an hierarchical construction you may liken unto geography, and in some ways geometry, for the hierarchy is quite regular, bearing inner relationships.
Now, if you want, we can stop right there.
Okay.
Do you get it?
You're going to have to help me out here. The stumbling over words just kind of made me lose it all.
Okay, so it's saying to it. Ra is saying to begin. They're gonna talk about how to contact infinite intelligence.
Okay.
Or intelligent infinity. And to be able to do that, you have to basically find the inner silence. And be able to have complete control over it. Complete control of it.
Is this basically like meditation?
Deep meditation.
Okay.
To be able to communicate openly with the universe, intelligent infinity.
Okay.
Like I said, the mind must be opened like a door, and the key is silence. And there's like a Jesus quote that says like, in the silence you will find my Father, or something like that. Talking about finding God, which in Jesus' time, Jesus is referencing specifically source.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unconditional love and all that other good stuff. I personally think the hierarchical relationships between all of that within the mind is understanding kind of the construction of like the chakra system and how it ascends, and then all of that ending essentially in your head. Obviously the crown is the top of your head reaching out into infinity. But yeah, I think that's kind of the reference. Basically saying like the inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see, where did I go?
At the relationship. So to begin.
To begin to master the concept of mental discipline, it is necessary to examine the self. The polarity of your dimension must be internalized. Where you find patience within your mind, you must concisely find the corresponding impatience and vice versa.
Consciously.
What did I say?
Concisely.
Oh. You must consciously find the corresponding impatience and vice versa. Each thought that a being has in its turn an antithesis.
Or antithesis.
Which one is it?
Oh, it's both. It's one and the same. Just most people say antithesis. But antithesis is the same thing.
Okay.
Antithesis is probably the way to say it to help more people understand.
Probably. The disciplines of the mind involve, first of all, identifying both those things of which you approve and those things of which you disapprove within yourself, and then balancing each and every positive and negative charge with its equal. The mind contains all things. Therefore, you must discover this completeness within yourself.
So to be a spiritual healer, you have to go through the initiation process first off. And this is a part of it. And basically taking every form of identity you have, this is all in my opinion, of course, and just completely destroying it.
It's kind of like going into, like, let's say like my line of work in psychology, where you take all your biases and you just get rid of it.
Yes, but you get rid of them by finding the equalizing opposition to it and balancing them, which is the whole patience, impatience, and
well, that's the route that
approval
they
and
tell us to do
disapproval.
in psychology as well.
To balance it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like you know that those biases are going to be there, but you work to balance it out so it doesn't occur.
And this is, I've been kind of trying to work on this myself, and it is difficult. Like, finding the patience when you're having impatience is actually easy. Like, you know,
Yeah. I would have to
collecting
agree.
yourself. And then finding and possibly understanding the disapproval that opposes your approval. That I get. But
I get,
finding,
but that can be difficult.
Well,
because
I mean,
you can be like hard-headed,
right?
Like I am. Where I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm
it
right.
can be
You.
for sure. I mean, we both were like that. Notice I said were.
Oh, I'm still somewhat like that.
Yes, but like finding the impatience while you're patient. That one boggles my mind.
I can get it.
Like, because when I'm so far in what I feel is my good, I don't even think about the bad. It's not like I'm trying to balance it. Not really the bad, but the opposite. I'm not actively trying to balance it. I'm so dead set. Really living fourth density is just sticking out in the good and the love and all that. Like, I don't ever sit here and ponder the negativity of things. Like, I mean, it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately for everybody else in my life, I'm a human, so I'm an asshole. But, like, yeah, just...
See, I can somewhat understand it. I'm more of an overthinker than you are.
Yep.
So I just think of everything, every possibility. Point A, point B, point C, point D through Z.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why.
I don't know. I'm going to guess it's just the analytical part of my brain. Because even, like, in my work, I have to do that. I have to go through point A through Z.
You gotta have 26 plans?
I don't have 26 plans, but say, like, oh, this person's having this problem, so let's do this, but this could be a consequence, and this could be a consequence, and this could be a consequence.
Yeah.
And then this is how we can route that consequence, but routing that consequence could have this consequence. And
Right. Yeah, well, that's more like a chain of events, kind of like a
but it's still
tree of life.
you
kind
can
of deal.
still, here's the positive, but here's the negative, but in that negative, here's this positive, but in this positive, here's this negative. It's like, it's a whole tree of positives and
effect,
negatives.
Not, in my opinion, it's an assload of cause and effect and assumptive prediction, but not necessarily balancing what's happening in your mind.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, we're talking more of the seeing the you're patient, but here's the impatient.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's kind of like it's the same, in my opinion. I'm just kind of trying to.
No, you're trying to make the correlation with what you're familiar with. I get it.
Yeah.
I do that all the time, which is why you don't understand, because I talk about cars. All right.
All right.
Shall I go on to the next paragraph?
Or do you want to, or you want me to?
There isn't a whole lot of Don in this session. There is an assload of Raw.
Okay, then you can go on.
Okay. So Raw continues. This was nonstop, by the way. So had we played this full thing, you would just have Carla in trance talking for probably an hour.
It still creeps me out. I'm sorry.
It does creep me out a little bit in the coolest way possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
It's like, yeah. It's like you want to watch a horror movie.
Yeah.
Because it's good.
Yeah.
You want to listen to this because it creeps you out, but then you're like, that's fucking Raw.
Yeah.
Talking through Carla.
Yeah.
Sick. And they say the second mental discipline is acceptance of the completeness within your consciousness. It is not for a being of polarity in the physical consciousness to pick and choose among attributes, thus building the roles that cause blockages and confusions in the already distorted mind complex. I'm going to stop there. You got it? Because I didn't.
No.
Yeah. Don't pick and choose attributes, building the roles that cause blockages and confusions in the already distorted. So I wonder if that's something to do with, like, don't label shit. Because that's a lot of the stuff I hear from spiritual gurus is, like, lose the labels and everything's going to be awesome. Because then you don't have to give reason for everything. And our heads are already fucked. Hence the already distorted mind complex.
But is distorted in the word of we're distorted, or is it distortions?
Yes.
Because distortions doesn't always mean bad.
No. That's why I said yes.
Okay.
Like, it's distorted because it is a separate viewpoint of the one creator, but it's also distorted because third density is distorted. And Ra speaks specifically to the human race a lot. In my opinion, it can be taken as just like you as in third density beings, but I take a lot of it as humans because we're obviously not the only third density existence. Ra had a third density at 1.2 where they had 4 fingers. Well, 8 fingers.
4 on each hand.
Yeah.
Are they even hands at that point?
They are hands.
But aren't they? Are hands labeled like that, or are hands labeled with 4 fingers and a thumb?
If a dude gets his thumb chopped off, it's still going to be his hand, is it not?
But he had a thumb.
Okay.
The joints are still there.
A child is born without thumbs. Is that not still a hand?
No.
Or does that make it a foot?
Makes it a foot.
Yeah?
Yep.
Well, then where's the 5th toe?
Up your butt.
And boom, we're out of there. All right. Each acceptance smooths part of the many distortions that the faculty you call judgment engenders. So it is about labels because it's judging. The third discipline of the mind is a repetition of the first, but with the gaze outward towards the fellow entities that it meets. Make sense? Everything that you did within yourself for that first step, you now need to apply to everybody else.
Okay.
In each entity, there exists completeness. Thus, the ability to understand each balance is necessary. When you view patience, you are responsible for mirroring in your mental understanding excuse me, patience, impatience. When you view impatience, it is necessary for your mental configuration of understanding to be impatience, patience. We use this as a simple example. Ra's simplicity is mind-blowing.
He's like, obviously this is completely simple. You guys are just silly.
Stupid humans. So you see patience in somebody and you need to mirror impatience, patience. What? I've listened to this material 5 times. I even finished the entire book today. This isn't completely clarified later on either.
If I can get my brain to wrap around
Wrap your brain around Ra's PhD level dissertation on metaphysics and get back to me. I'll see you in about 10 lifetimes.
Okay, so the way I'm thinking of it, obviously, again, my own thoughts here.
Yes.
Not saying this is
We
true.
almost need like a little splash thing that pops up. Like, our opinion. Don't take this shit as fact. It's our opinion.
It just makes that noise.
Shit.
And it's like tied and it just goes, opinion.
Beautiful. We just need a little splash, literally, of just shit that comes onto the screen that says opinion. I gotta find somebody to make that for me now.
I got you.
Let's not actually throw poop at the camera, because then I won't be able to get it off.
Okay, so because I am you, you are me, we are everyone.
And everything.
Yeah. So what if, because they're patient and we have to mirror patient, impatient. It's just because...
Hold on. You reversed it. It's
I?
important. If they're showing patience, you need to mirror impatience, patience.
Okay. Well, okay. It still applies either way, in my opinion. We have to mirror that because we're showing ourselves that.
I say again. What?
So, you are showing patience.
Yes.
Okay.
You're more patient than me right now. So let's lay this. You're displaying an assload of patience with me right now because
Okay.
I'm confused.
So,
What am I supposed to be doing?
telling me that you don't understand. You are getting impatient with it because you don't understand.
Well, I'm not actually.
Well,
but
no,
yeah.
but impatience doesn't always mean... That's the human brain thought of impatience. Impatience doesn't always mean, I need it now. Impatience can also mean...
Anxiety?
The lack of knowledge and the need of it. Need of the knowledge. I don't need it now, but I need the knowledge. So, because we are all one, me showing you patience and you showing me impatience is going to help myself and yourself being one.
Right. Teach learning. Learn teaching.
Honor duty.
Duty. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
I might have to meditate on this one some more.
My brain's making the connection.
You know what? If you did and you can, fantastic. Me, on the other hand, I'm just like,
What?
what?
I'll make a diagram.
Oh, fuck yeah. Give me a Venn diagram of this. Let's do it.
Not a Venn diagram.
Why
That's
not?
not going to help.
Oh, okay.
It's got to be like a tree.
a tree.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
Not like a tree, but like, like...
The brackets?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see how that would apply to
I can
you're
do it.
being patient, so I need to mirror impatience, patience, and vice versa. But
I don't know. Like
let's
I said,
continue
this is just how my brain's taking
because
it.
I am totally lost right now.
I'm just telling you how my brain's taking it.
Most configurations of mind have many facets. An understanding of either self polarities, or what you would call other self polarities, can and must be understood as subtle work. The next step is the acceptance of the other self polarities, which mirrors the second step. These are the first 4 steps of learning mental discipline. The 5th step involves observing the geographical and geometrical relationships and ratios of the mind, the other mind, the mass mind, and the infinite mind. Which sounds to me like you got to do all that shit with everything.
To be a catalyst, to be a healer.
Well, to be a healing catalyst, yeah.
No, yeah, but I said it
Yeah,
in more words than you just did, but...
So, like, acceptance of the other self polarities, which mirrors the second step. I get that. Accepting other people for who they are.
So, in my opinion, with a synopsis of this, first you need deep meditation. Like, that's the prerequisite of it.
Yes, because you need to completely open the door to your mind and completely accept yourself.
Yes.
Which seems kind of counterintuitive to the law of one. But I guess it also isn't, because if you can learn to love and accept yourself, you can do it with everybody else. Never mind. Forget what I said.
Technically, if you love yourself, you love everyone too, because you are loving yourself once you love yourself and others.
Well, yeah, and you can't.
That didn't really
there's
make
kind of a classic little thing of, can you really love somebody else if you can't, or if you don't already love yourself?
Yeah.
So, I love you.
Love unto others like you would want to be loved.
Well, do unto others as you would have others do unto you.
Wasn't there one like for love others as you would want? No.
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't know.
But you know more about the Bible than I do. Okay, continue with your synopsis because I know it's going to be good. That's not sarcasm.
So that's the prerequisite is basically deep meditation, open your mind, be open to everything, etc. Then you need to be able to examine yourself to make sure you are open to all this.
Was that a question?
Yeah, because I'm kind of blanking on the
Are you
first
saying
step.
for the... Well, that kind of is the second step, or the first step, really.
The prerequisite is the first step?
Well, no, you're right with the prerequisite being that you need to have the mental capacity to reach infinite intelligence.
Here, first of all, here's the word.
Yeah.
Identifying both those things of which you approve and those things
It's
which
the
you
balance.
disagree. Okay,
you
so
need
yeah.
to achieve the inner balance.
So meditate, deep meditate, balance everything, don't have any biases. And then accepting everything.
Yeah.
And then...
Without distortion.
Yeah. Well, that's what accepting everything really is. Just accept everything. You don't have to distort it. You don't have to overthink it. It's what it is.
You don't have to overthink it, baby.
Quit putting everything on me.
Dude, I overthink too, just not as much as you. You said it yourself. And I've already said I'm a fucking idiot, so. So what about the third?
I'm rereading over it right now. The third one is what basically I was talking about.
Third was the first one, but to other people.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one is the second one to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically you need to figure it
And the
out for
fifth
your
one
own
is
self.
just...
And then you figure it out for all other self. And then the fifth one is basically understanding and realizing that since you had already done that, you did it for everything. Because everything is everything.
Everything, everywhere.
Everything is
Every
everything.
space, time.
Yes. Time, space. Space, time. Wibbly
Foodstuffs.
wobbly. All the foodstuffs you enjoy. And then throw in the infinite mind, which is where it gets really deep. And there you go. You can heal people.
Ta-da! But there's more
Just
steps.
kidding. There's more. Do you want me to continue?
Yeah, I'll do
or
this.
you want?
It's
All
okay.
right, cool.
So the next the next step is the acceptance of the other self polarities, which mirrors the second
hold on.
step.
I think I may have double the fifth. I did double copy. Hold on. That's my bad. I fucked up.
Wow.
So start with the second area of learned teaching.
Okay, the second area of learned teaching is
My
the
bad.
study understanding of the body complexes. It is necessary to know your body well. This is a matter of using the mind to examine how the feelings, the biases, what you would call the emotions, affect various portions of the body complex. It shall be necessary to both understanding the bodily polarities and to accept them, repeating in a chemical physical manifestation the work you have done upon the mind bethinking the consciousness. Yeah.
Get it?
No.
Oh, this is actually the simpler one.
It's me still trying to not stumble over words.
Uh-huh.
So it's just more I'm not intaking it. It's more I'm just trying to read it so I don't mess up.
So, Ra is saying you need to understand the human body.
Okay.
And you also need to understand the interrelationships between the human body and the human mind.
Okay.
Hence the emotions. And then it gets into the spiritual aspect of it as well.
Okay.
In a moment here. Because, I mean, mind, body, spirit, complex. That's what we are. So they are all dancing an eternal waltz into intelligent infinity. Not really, though, because you lose your physical body when you get in the fifth. But, yeah, we're all light at that point. Vibrating so fast we can't maintain a physical or a dense
You know, technically
body.
we're vibrating just sitting here.
Yeah, everything's vibrating all the time.
We're not technically touching anything.
I know, it's crazy, right?
Right.
How does sex work? I can feel
Energy.
everything I touch.
Energy.
Yeah, that's true. sexual energy transfers are very powerful.
Just energy in general.
Well, yes, but Ra
Anyway.
speaks specifically how powerful sexual energy transfers are.
No, okay. Anyway.
Yes. Want me to continue?
I can. It's okay.
Okay.
So the body is a creature of the mind's creation. It has its biases. The biological bias must be first completely understood, and then the opposite bias allowed to find full expression and understanding. Again, the process of acceptance of the body as a balanced as well as polarized individual may then be accomplished. It is then the task to extend this understanding to the bodies of the other selves whom you will meet. The simplest example of this is the understanding that each biological male is female, each biological female is male. This is a simple example.
Stop there, because that's not a fucking simple example.
To me it is. We are all one. It doesn't matter about your sexual gender orientation. Just like, the whole movement of LGBTQA+. It doesn't matter what your gender is.
No, they care very deeply about what gender you think you are.
Okay, well, I guess so.
Hence the labels.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
There's an assload of ego there.
Yeah, but we are all one. Mm-hmm. We shall accept everyone.
Yes. I actually understood it. I wanted to see what your response would be.
Wow.
Because that is not a simple example to some people.
Okay.
Great job.
Okay. However, in almost every case wherein you are attempting the understanding of the body of self or other self, you will again find that the most subtle discernment is necessary in order to fully grasp the polarity complexes involved. At this time, we would suggest closing the description until the next time of work so that we may devote time to the third area, commensurate. Thank you. With its importance. We can answer a query if it is a short one before we leave this instrument. Basically, hey, I got more to say, but you're running out of time, homie.
Right, yeah. And it is subtle work being a healer. In terms of hands-on healing, you felt my energy right there.
You gave me a chill is what you gave me.
Okay, so that's basically the end of the channeling session. But of course, Don, being the loving, caring, beautiful man he was, asks, is the instrument comfortable? Is there any other thing that would increase the instrument's comfort? That's all.
That's it, man.
Yep.
Oh, I am raw.
Okay. Before we get into it, I want to say we're not going to keep talking about these intros and outros. We've already cut out most of the intros. These will start dwindling too, because it gets to a point where it's repetitive and, in my opinion, not really relative to using the material for the methods in which we want to. I am including the ones that have information that seems fleeting and unnecessary, but actually isn't. So that's it. Mm-hmm. You may continue.
I am raw. The candle could be rotated clockwise approximately 10 degrees each session to improve the flow of spiraled energy through the being's receiving mechanisms. This particular configuration is well otherwise. But we ask that the objects described and used to be centered with geometric care and checked from time to time. Also, that they not be exposed to that space-time in which work is not of importance. I am raw. I leave this instrument in the love and light of the one infinite Creator. Go forth rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one Creator, Adonai.
Oh, crying?
No.
I am. So, rotating the candle, I get, keeps the wax from going too much into one side and making it look ugly. I don't know.
Yes, because looking ugly is the purpose here.
Well, it's to provide comfort for Carla,
But she can't see it.
but she can feel it.
Okay.
Even though she's not there, she's within Ra.
Okay.
She can still feel it. And I'm just going by what was said.
Yeah. Go on.
And I think it's kind of funny. Be centered with geometric care and checked from time to time. But Ra has said previously, adjust by eye. But we'll come in and say
I think it's
10
because
degrees ahead.
technically, in my
Opinion.
yeah, and also the scientific workings of my mind that I have studied. Just because something is sitting still doesn't mean it's not moving still.
Well, I mean, we're all vibrating, so.
Like that, and as you move around a room, things end up shifting.
The movement around the room is limited to that of coming in, propping Carla on the bed, walking the circle of one, and sitting down.
Well, even just walking that circle could cause something just to slightly shift.
Oh, and there's also, they go into a cleansing ritual of the lesser pentagram
Okay.
in the
Anyway,
future. Yeah.
still things.
Yeah,
Things
I get
move.
it. Things move. Yeah, yeah. No, I got you. You want to read the outro?
Question though.
Yes.
When it is spoken of that they are not to be exposed to that space time in which work is not of importance, does that mean they don't leave this room? Because out there is not important, because out there they're not used for this purpose?
Well, yes, they don't leave the room, but they also are stored.
Okay.
That's my understanding, is they're stored and kept out of daylight.
So even though, okay. So the whole, them sitting there and the room moves and it just kind of moves just a tiny bit. It's not because it's just been sitting there. It's just, they're setting it up every time.
They're setting it up every session, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I did not know
At least
that.
to my knowledge. That's the way it's been presented to me. Okay. Obviously, I wasn't there. I wasn't even a thought at that point.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, my higher self probably knows all about it. Maybe we should ask.
Anyway.
Let's ask Ra.
Okay.
I love the tones that are playing right now. It's one of my favorite ones.
I can't hear him. There you go. Oh, now I'm too loud. Anyway.
Oh, you want to go down more?
Yes, please. That's really loud.
Okay, how about that?
I don't know what you did.
I'm turning it down one click at a time.
Oh, well, I don't know where it was before.
I don't know either.
I don't know either. This is fine. Just move
Okay.
on.
Do you want to read the outro or you want me to?
Go right ahead.
So, obviously, at the end, you could tell this is going to be continued in the next session. That happens a lot. Channeling Ra is a lot of work. Takes a lot of focus, a lot of energy, and takes a lot out of Carla. And actually, come to find out later on, it takes a lot out of the whole trio. So, this was the first session that was fairly short. The other ones were kind of short early on, but this one seemed shorter than those, at least in my opinion.
It seemed much shorter. Oh, so we're not talking about pyramids for 4 million slides.
There's that too. And another thing to keep in mind is, as you've heard in the little sample clips, Ra's communications are very slow and very precise and creepy. So, like we talk about all the time, anytime we're going to discuss the original material, we will always link it. LL Research also has their own YouTube page.
Have you set that up yet on there?
I
Or would you
actually
like me to
forgot
link it
to.
again?
You can go ahead and link it in there. It's actually just youtube.com/LLResearch101, if I remember right.
I'm just going to make sure.
But go there, and because they have so much more than just the raw material. They talk about their other channels. I don't know if there's anything about Latui, but there is of Kuo. They have interviews. They had discussions with Carla and Jim, of course. I mean, the whole team. Gary and the guys are all very, very cool. So these short sessions do happen on occasion, depending upon the amount of energy Carla is able to make available. And Ra actually ends up speaking on this process a lot more in upcoming sessions. Okay. I don't know why I worded it like that, but I'm just going to go ahead and read it as I wrote it, see if it sounds okay coming out of my face.
Okay.
It's also good to keep in mind that us spacing these out will allow for all of us to take some time to ponder what was provided to us, find ways to implement these messages in our daily lives, and learn more about the law of one as it means to ourselves. I guess it did actually make some sense after I said it.
Yeah.
For some reason, looking at it,
Hey, that happens.
I was like, English,
It's
what's
like,
that?
I mean, it's like when you look at a word and go, that's a word?
Like onomatopoeia?
No, like just looking at the word thoughts. You're like, is that really the word?
Yes.
Well, I mean, like, that's what happens. So, like,
Oh.
sometimes you're like, is it really spelled that way? Like, if you keep, like,
If
writing
you
something
say the
over
same
and
word
over
over
again,
and over and over again,
and you're like, ugh,
like chocolate. Say chocolate 1,000 times.
no.
You're gonna laugh, and then you'll never eat chocolate again.
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Coffee.
Say it right.
So, what'd you think of this session, babe?
Oh, for some reason, I was able to wrap my mind around it easier.
Which I find interesting because it parallels you having a past of wanting. Well, even now, you still do want to heal people. You went from physical healing to now mental healing.
Yeah.
So I suppose it does still make sense and apply,
Yeah, I guess so.
which is cool.
Cool.
This one actually took me a little bit. Like I said, I've now listened to the first book 4 times. And now I'm reading it.
And now you're hearing stuff from me going,
Yes. Which was actually one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to do this, outside of getting more people aware of the material, is to have the discussion with you. Because having it with you is going to incite discussion against it within everybody else.
against everyone else.
That's, yes, English. I don't
against
speak it.
everyone.
I mean, we are pretty much going against the fold here. This one, for me, ironically, I listened to it the day after that we attempted hands-on healing for ourselves. And I don't remember if that was the first or second time I had listened to it, but it came up, and I was like, huh. And I was thinking, like, what we had done and how we actually got some results just in I know when I was doing it for you, I was so focused on the transfer of energy, I wasn't even really considering all that was happening so much. I imagined, like the physical healing of the ailment you were suffering through at that time, but I was not aware of how that would happen, so I guess my imagining just the healing process kind of worked without knowing how it actually happens, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't know, for instance, how a bone is going to actually go through the process of healing itself when it's broken, but I can picture it fusing itself back together properly. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting at. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, just, we had just done this, and then I'm reading this. I'm like, so, I mean, yes, all of this does apply. This is probably for the people like Jesus that can come up and be like, you can see now. Or, grabbing the cripple and lifting him up and saying, walk. Like, that's the level that's being spoken of here, I'm sure. But
I just can't stop yawning. I'm sorry.
it's okay. Because you're making me do it too.
I'm sorry.
Banana. So,
Banana.
yeah.
All right.
So that was session 5. Please, anybody, as always, go to the sources. Go to LL Research. They are the original source for the raw material and the raw contact. I'll go ahead and throw it in chat one more time. It is always going to be in all the descriptions of all of our content. I will get a thing for their YouTube channel set up because I'm a derp. And, man, if any of this resonates with you, at the very least, look more into the Law of One. Because there's plenty of teachers on it. There's Aaron Abke. He's my favorite, but there are plenty more out there. And once you get in his synopsis of the whole thing, then get in it, if you vibe with it, of course, get into the original material and have your mind blown by what is actually said. And then also remember that LL Research is still doing this stuff to this day. Mm-hmm. They are still channeling, I don't know about every day, but they are still channeling even through Rona bullshit, all of that. Like, they're still channeling, they're still recording.
Just not with Carla.
Not with Carla, she has passed on. And even if she hadn't, I'm not sure how much she was just because the toll on her body.
Yeah.
And then Jim, he's kind of more like a patron saint at this point. He's more like a figurehead for LL. Because in the interview that Aaron did, Aaron asked him, like, Jim, so what do you do? He's like, well, I plant and I take care of the garden, and we got a few cats, and I take care of them, and I come out and, I stop in the office every once in a while, check out how Gary, and I apologize, but I can't remember the other guy's name right now because he's not the one who emailed me, and see how they're doing in the office. And he's like, since those guys got in here, there's really nothing else for me to do. So I just kind of take care of the property. And I'm just like, man, what a life. So, yeah, I mean, it was, that was an interesting interview as well. What you looking at?
I'm trying to find the other person's name for you.
Oh, there's probably like a About Us somewhere or a Contact Us or
Gary
something.
Austin?
Austin, yes. Austin's the other guy. Sorry, Austin. I love you too. Trust me.
Do you know he was born in New Mexico?
Austin?
Sorry for bringing out personal information that's on the internet.
No, I'm not really concerned with that. That's weird.
It's just, I don't know. Sorry.
Any last words?
This shiz be dope, yo.
I'm glad you like it.
And I want some more foodstuffs.
You're hungry again? Good night. Well,
This was my first meal of the day. You gotta remember that.
that being said, I hope everyone here has a wonderful evening, and we will see you next week. Much love. Oh, I almost sent him into the clip again.